All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of What's What VR. We have Randel Truax with us. Randel, how are you?
Hey, good. How are y'all doing?
We're good. We're keeping up. It's been busy around here, and the world is opening back up again, it seems like. So,
Thank goodness. Yes, same here.
so
Busy, busy.
yeah, for dating ourselves, we're Cinco de Mayo today for anybody who's keeping up. But you are the one that is holds the glue, from what I hear, over at Alpha One Imaging. You're the hub inside the spoke that's keeping it all going, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I would say so. So, official title, Administrator of Alpha One Imaging.
There you go. So, for anybody who doesn't know, what is Alpha One Imaging?
Alpha One Imaging is a portable diagnostic imaging company. So, essentially, we go to the patient's bedside to do x rays, ultrasounds, EKGs, and that's 24/7, 365.
That's what I've heard. I know a couple people over there, and it's literally around the clock. Anytime orders come in, guys are rolling, trucks are all over the place, and it's not like an order comes in at 10 o'clock at night and we'll see at 10 o'clock the next morning, right?
That's right. Right. So, patients obviously need care around the clock, especially some of the elderly patients we deal with. They don't just slip and fall until 5 p.m. every day. It happens in the middle of the night, it happens on weekends, and we're there to help them. So, really, really essential, especially this day and age. Obviously, we're starting to open up a little bit, but some of our patients that are a little bit more susceptible to the virus, we want to try to keep them in place as much as we can, and not expose them. So by having us come in, it really helps with that.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. And I think, when we dive down, we talk, diagnostic imaging. What does that actually entail for the non-medical, person?
Yeah, so really what you mostly probably thinking about is x-rays. A lot
Mhm.
of times we're looking for fractures. We even have OCMED clients where they're trying to rule out occupational lung disease. And so what we're doing is we send our techs in to take an image of whatever part of the body we need to look at. That is then sent off to a radiologist to review. The reports are sent back typically within an hour or less and forwarded out to the ordering clinician. So it all happens pretty quickly, which is kind of more the benefit of portable imaging versus the traditional imaging center or hospital where you need an x-ray or your son got hurt on the baseball field. We need to go make sure he's not fractured. So we go sit at the emergency room for 3 hours and then we wait, several days for the reporting. It's not like that. This is all very seamless. It's happening within a few hours.
This is, this can be a nursing home, it's got someone who calls the order in for the x-ray, or it could be a doctor. Like you said, it could be, industry, oil and gas, but also it could be an individual, correct? Like they
It's
can't, themselves, they've got to have, a doctor, but personally, like a company, if there's someone's doctor, you could tell your doctor, hey, I don't want to come in for an x-ray. Could they do that? Or,
So they can. There's a part of this piece that is directly related to insurance. So insurance will cover it if the exam is warranted portable, which is really just a statement that the physician puts on there saying, yes, it's a requirement for this patient to have an exam in their home because of A, B, and C. But let's say the example I gave you a minute ago about your son. And instead of you wanting to go sit at the hospital for hours and hours and then wait, 2 days to get reporting, you could actually pay out of pocket, and it is significantly less than what would be paid in a hospital or clinic setting. And we would come to you guys at your convenience, shoot the exam before we even leave your home. It's with the radiologist and being read.
yeah. And I think, I think the way, we all got connected was somehow, I ended up having, my mother ended up needing to get an x-ray, for you
Okay.
guys. And it was, the phone call was made. This is what we needed. And then literally it was less than an hour. There was somebody, at her house. And what I'd always thought, what I didn't know was, I always thought, the portable, and it was like, okay, hey, come outside and climb up in our trailer, and we're going to sit you down, and I'm picturing the big hospital x-ray, but it's in a trailer, and that's how we make it portable. But no, it was like almost like a vacuum cleaner, you know, they were bringing into the house.
Yeah, I mean, the machine is roughly about 4 feet tall. These days, they're really light, so we're able to maneuver it in most home situations. We can even get it upstairs. We go up apartment, steps. None of that's difficult for them to maneuver. So the machines are really easy to work with and to get in the home. Essentially, we just need an outlet. We need to be able to access, some way to power the machine. But other than that, yeah, we can go to any home setting.
That's awesome. So tell me, there's got to be, a million benefit, like, I don't know anybody that's looking, I don't think anybody ever wanted to go to an emergency room and sit and wait. I don't think anybody really wants to go anymore to an emergency room and sit
That's
and
right.
wait, for this. Like I said, my personal experience was literally like it was from phone call to radiology report. The whole process happened like in 2 hours.
Hmm.
So, and that was with, difficulties on our part as well. So,
Yeah. So some other benefits to note is obviously the convenience of us coming to the patient's bedside, which, as we noted, isn't just for those patients that are in a nursing home setting or in an occupational medicine setting. Those patients who are in a correctional facility, a lot of times they're having to take several staff members to go out with that inmate to a clinic setting to have that imaging done. So then we've got a staffing issue in the correctional facility. Instead, we go in, see that patient or several patients at one time. So there's the benefit there. There's also the cost savings that I noted, whether or not the patient uses their insurance, if they choose to have us come out and they want to pay out of pocket because they don't necessarily have that warranted portable reason, we can actually save them significantly than what they would be paying in a clinic or hospital setting. Another important benefit is our reporting features. So once that radiologist reads the report, it is automatically sent out via fax, via email, or both to the ordering clinician, and that is within seconds of it being finalized by the radiologist. From there, the ordering clinician also has access to the patient's images and reports 24/7 online. So those things combined is what allows us to help get the care to the patient significantly faster than what would occur if that patient were to go to an imaging center or hospital.
wow. So I can imagine, a nursing home, would be, ideal, a
Yeah.
candidate, it, you know, taking care of the elderly and then not having to transport and move people, around. Hadn't thought about the prison area, so there's a big need, here for it. And then you said you guys are around the clock, 24/7. So, how long you guys have been doing this?
Roughly about 12 years. And we're kind of the newer guys in Louisiana. There are other companies that have been doing it. I mean, portable imaging has been around for decades. But it's interesting because as long as it's been around, I still spend the bulk of my time educating clinicians and facilities that it even exists. I mean, we still have them sending everybody out, which, as we talked about, can delay the care. On top of delaying the care for the patient, it can also exacerbate the condition that the patient's in, whether they're, having pain from a fall or whatever it is. Those symptoms are usually increasing as they're continuing to wait to get into the hospital or, waiting for the reports to come in. So just another benefit of us coming to the bedside is we're able to help, again, get the care to the patient a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's got to be key. At the end of the day, is patient care is priority one. But then how do we make it more convenient for them? So is that how do you guys manage? Is statewide? Is that is it fleets of trucks? Is it guys sitting around waiting for calls?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we're able to have that cost savings go on to the patient is because there isn't a lot of overhead for us. So because we're portable, we're across the entire state. We don't just have offices everywhere across the state where these techs are at. They're essentially working from home. So they wait. We have a dispatching system. They wait at home or, with their other patient, whatever they're doing, until they get another call, and they just bounce from call to call to call. But we manage all of that through a dispatching system that we have. It's all really seamless. Anytime someone needs to order an exam, they typically just call it in. And then from there, we're able to dispatch it to the tech. We can track when they're en route. We can see the entire process through, whether the exam's with the radiologist, when it's been sent to the facility. So if I have a facility call and, they're trying to track when to expect the tech to get there, we can see all of that through the system. It's all pretty seamless.
I think this would be, it's one of those, you don't need it till you need it, kind of things, to where you might be 24/7, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not, onboarding new customers, at that point. So this would seem like, and I would urge, people to, I live in, we're getting to that all in that what we call the sandwich generation, to where we're taking care of our kids, and we're also taking care of our, parents, and, as maybe some family moves in, or you get that call that, mom or dad, they fell, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And the question is, they're talking to you and saying, I fell, my leg hurts, it's swelling. Your only option at that point is hang out and wait, or go sit in the ER at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Out of all the on-demand services that we have, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can get food brought to me, easier than I can get, I hate to say it, like medical care. I've got to go sit in, and I have to physically get up and go, to the ER, just to maybe possibly sit there, for hours, just to find out that there's nothing wrong. Yeah. But at the same time, I can't call you if you've never heard from me at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, can you send somebody over? It's, hey, how to, get set up, get in the process, put it all together, get the number for your phone. So when you get that call, you can just say, all right, do you feel that you need to go to the emergency room? No. Okay, well, I'm going to make a call. We'll get an x-ray shot, and then we'll make that determination. You're still waiting possibly maybe an hour to, to get it all done. But I'd rather wait sitting on a couch with a bag of ice than sitting in an ER room.
Right. Exactly. So obviously we do still have to have that order from the clinician. So a patient couldn't fall in the middle of the night and then call us themselves and say, hey, I want you to come shoot an x-ray. You do have to have an order for it. But like you just said, the benefit of once you get in touch with your doctor and get that ball rolling, being able to sit in your home with your family and just wait an hour or so for us to come in and shoot the exam there comfortably. As I noted earlier, moving the patient can exacerbate the symptoms if we're ruling out a fracture specifically. So it's super important to keep that patient in place, and that's where we come into play.
So I guess, and that's where I was skipping, I guess, the order's required. I guess I'm thinking in my mind for maybe some of these people that are on these like MVP programs that have that doctor on call, you know, for them all the time. It's start connecting these dots, or especially if you're about to have families going to come move in, like these are things, the whole reason why we're here is to let everybody know that this does exist. If you didn't know, it's you need first an MVP plan, maybe you need to be able to make that call. Then you need to figure out, get set up with you guys, because you never need it until you need it. So this could be, or if you're a business, like I said, if you're in industry and you're trying to get those chest x-ray, you guys can do that. It's more, the term I hear a lot in industry, with those where they might need that chest, it's time on tools. If we've got to take 50 guys and say, you need to go get x-rays and you got to go do it, it literally might be a 30-minute drive down the road to the imaging center. Then it's another wait, of an hour. Then it's taking it, then it's coming back. You might have 2 hours worth of time, but somehow that always ends up to, I got to take the day off, to go do this, or the morning off, or the afternoon off. Even though it's maybe 2 hours, worth of doing, you're losing that man, woman on that job for at least half a day, to make that happen.
Yeah. And, right now, especially with COVID, I've seen a big influx of patients going to urgent cares. Not just for emergency visits, but more routine visits, smaller things that they would have initially gone to their physician's office for. or even an emergency room. They're going to urgent cares a lot more. And so one of the great things about that is we're able to come in there as well. And so a lot of times that is ultrasounds that they're wanting, looking for DVT. Patient comes in with pain, swelling in the legs, and the doctor at the urgent care wants to rule out DVT. In the past, they would have to ship that patient over to the emergency room, or, you may have waited already at the urgent care for 2 hours to be seen and being like, hey, I've got to get back to work. I don't have time to go sit at, the emergency room, and a few days go by before you can get back out and go to the emergency room to take care of it. By then, things could have worsened significantly. So we also come into urgent care settings and take care of those ultrasounds for patients as well.
Yeah, I had a situation. I went to an urgent care a while back, and it went in originally, I was like, okay, I got a chest thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, well, they just defaulted to, I think it's the, save yourself. It was like, oh, you need to go to the ER. You need an EKG. We
Mm-hmm.
can't do that for you. And it was like, what? And then it's like, okay, go sit there forever. We were running. They're like, yeah, everything looks okay, but we're going to turn around. We're going to keep you for the night. It's like,
that's exactly right.
Me?
That's exactly
it's
right.
like everybody's trying to cover themselves along the way, to where it's like, could I have not just gotten this, at urgent care, or could we have done this? And I think a lot of people maybe don't go because they're afraid of that, to where it's, is this going to turn into a 3-day incident, that I'm sitting in a hospital?
Yeah. And it can happen for the average person. We see it a lot more in those elderly patients in long-term care facilities, where unfortunately they don't realize the service is available. So they send the patient all the way out to the hospital. And of course, the hospital finding a reason to keep them there for several days, whereas we could have just came in, shot the exam, told you exactly what was wrong. They could have started treatment right then, and that would have been the end of it. But yeah, I agree. They're quick to kind of keep you overnight when they can, huh?
They're in the business of filling beds.
That's right. That's right.
God bless them. We need them, but at the same time, it's like we all got things to do. Like, how can we get more efficient? So,
yep, convenience is key.
Well, it sounds like that's what you guys have done. Have taken a complicated process and simplified it down to get us an order. We'll get it to you, and being very, very efficient. With it.
Yeah, so we try to be. A lot of our home health and hospice clients, it's the same thing. They're across the entire state, and they've got these patients that clearly they're on home health and hospice. They can't leave the home, and so it's a huge benefit to them as well. I don't like to forget about those guys, because that they're probably one of the main clinicians within home health and hospice that I find that are not aware that we even exist. And you can imagine, moving a hospice patient with everything they have going on, where someone like us can just come in. So, just trying to educate everybody on it.
Well, hopefully this shines a light and maybe gets, some people to realize that there are some other options out there, that they just need to start exploring. So I appreciate you spending some time with us today and telling us what's going on, what you guys are doing, and, for what you're doing, here. Statewide, it's a big deal. 12 years, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
statewide, 24/7. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll have you come back and check in with us down the road and tell us how things are going.
Sure thing.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.